Where does this meh mound of mediocrity land? Let's rank this film on the Cageometer.
All right, that leads us to the most important question of the episode about this movie that nobody has ever seen, nor will they watch our episode about this movie, because who's like diving in to watch us talk about Christmas Carol for an hour and a half? Anyways, Vince, where does Christmas Carol the movie from 2001 rate on your Cageometer?
In the spirit of Christmas, I'm not going to be too harsh. So instead of a 1, I'm going to give it a 2. I think telling this story is difficult because it's been done so well in other films and TV specials that you really have to bring your A game to do it justice. And they did not. All the characters look the same. They added the stupid mice. We didn't need that. It was. I love this. Like, I love A Christmas Carol. I love the Muppet version. Yeah, I think it's just like nostalgic from a kid, like watching it as a kid. Like the Muppet version, the Flintstone version, Scrooge. I love when they do different takes on it and try to bring it into more modern adult. Like Scrooge was a great telling of it. And Dickens is one of my favorite authors of all time. But man, they didn't bring anything to this fucking film. It was so fucking boring. So boring. The animation was awful. The voice acting was okay. I don't think anybody knocked it out of the fucking park. It was just so... I could have lived with never seeing this film. And the fact that Nick Cage is only in it for like 2 minutes, if even that. It just... there wasn't anything interesting about this film.
Yeah, he knocked out his lines before lunch.
Yeah. For Cage's performance,
he probably doesn't even remember it.
I don't even know what to rate it because it was so small.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just give it a 5 because it didn't add anything to the movie. It didn't subtract anything from the movie. And that's not a knock on him. I mean, they cast him to play the shortest character in the whole story. So yeah, I mean that's all I can say about Cage. It's a 5. It was okay. I'm glad he didn't do an accent because I think that would have definitely made it a 1 or 2. Because we've heard his English accent, it's not very good. So I'll just give him a 5. He didn't draw me. You know, I thought he delivered the lines very well. Nothing memorable about the performance though. So
yeah,
a 2 and a 5.
I did not expect you to line up exactly with my rating. That leads us over to Nigel. Nigel, where does Christmas Carol rate on your Cageometer?
Humbug. We can't say anything else that hasn't been said. It's a 2 for me as well for basically all the same reasons. It's not. It's a terrible retelling of A Christmas Story or A Christmas Carol. God, I keep doing that. A Christmas Carol. All of the good aspects of it just come from Charles Dickens' story. So it's a good story. It's timeless. It has a good message to it, and that kind of comes through in the movie. But the movie itself doesn't do anything to deliver that. It's the animation's poor. The acting, you couldn't even I was reading the credits afterwards. I was like, "That's who played that. That's who that was." I can't even tell that any of the actors are who they are. You know, the guy who played Scrooge was pretty good. Like his
Simon Callow.
Yeah, Simon Callow, which is his stage actor and theater actor and movie actor. But it's like it felt like a lot of them weren't voice actors, so they were kind of unfamiliar with it. And the animation's poor. Like you said, everybody looks the same. It's so dull and boring. The mice add nothing and just detract from everything. And there are much better adaptations of A Christmas Carol. You can watch pretty much any of them and have a better experience of this. So, yeah, I feel bad because I could tell a lot of people worked on this. Like we said, all those animators and stuff, but it was it is not worth watching. No. Cage is the same thing. I don't know what to give him. He can't. He didn't have anything to work with, so I was like, I'll just put him at a 5 as well because I I don't know what to,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. He could swap him with anybody else, but like he didn't do bad with what he did. He was just there for 2 minutes and just, like we said, delivered a dozen lines, and it was ghostly Marley. Like, I don't know. I can't really say it's bad performance. I mean, I guess you could because he didn't try an accent, but it would have been awful with it. But that's not his fault. They cast him to play it. So he's like the only non-English British person in the cast for some reason.
I just wonder if he was in Britain and they were like, "Oh, Cage is down the street. Maybe we could see if we can have him read for 20 minutes."
Yeah, or like he knew somebody in the director, something.
I don't know, man. It's confusing.
I think they may have just needed some star power, some American star, because he's front and center in the opening credits, starring Nicolas Cage. Like they needed to get something.
I see it being like, man, we really need to add some star power to this. Who could we get for like 2 hours of work? Cage.
Yeah.
Let's get Cage. Oh, he'll only do it for $1 million. Oh. All right. Well, we need somebody in the credits.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's not even a Cage movie. It's just he happens to be in it, and we had to watch it because of it.
We have to, unfortunately,
Yeah.
watch all of these at some point.
But it's only a 2. It's not a 1 because it's a Christmas Carol, and you can still glean some kind of moral out of it. But that has nothing to do with the production of the movie.
Yeah. On my Cageometer, I gave it the same thing, 2, for the same reasons. Like, there are so many better adaptations of this. I'm just like, why did you even make this? Like, it obviously took a lot of work to make this thing, and you are just making a version that's like not any more interesting or better than any other version out there. Like, you didn't even try to make it something new and unique. Maybe they were trying to make it more kid friendly or something. But like in a world where the Muppets Christmas Carol had been out for 10 years, like why would you make this thing? I don't even understand why it exists. There are 10,000 Christmas Carol adaptations, and this is one of the worst ones. Easily the worst one I've ever seen. And like I mean, Tiny Toons did this better than fucking they did, It's like you said, it just is drab and ugly and boring. So boring. The characters all look the same. The color scheme is just nasty. I guess it was supposed to be, London and back in the 1840s, drab, old, dreary England. I don't really understand why they felt the need to make this thing in the first place. So 2s across the board, which seems harsh for a kids movie, but it's like, I feel like we have a pretty good sense of like good and bad, even when it comes to a kids movie. I wouldn't show this to my kid. I'd be like, don't watch that creepy, weird thing. So stupid mice aren't even interesting in that. Like, you're just like, the only thing that's supposed to be interesting in this thing is those mice for children. And even that is just like, what? Like, something interesting is happening on screen, and we just cut to these damn mice, like, making weird arm movements in his pocket. It's just not good. For Cage, I got the same thing, 5. I don't know what to give him because he has no lines, didn't do a British accent, didn't even attempt it, which I guess is a good thing based on the accents we've seen him do. I mean, I feel like we can't really be better or harsher than that because he's got like 10 lines. Mend your ways. That's all you can really like glean from his performance, which I guess is good. He achieved what his character was meant to achieve. I don't understand why you would cast Nicolas Cage in this role other than we need a name for the credits. We don't want to have to pay him too much. We can get him to come in for 1 day of work, record his lines, probably, like I said, before lunch.
Yeah.
And that's that, I mean, hopefully like most of the money went to the animators and not to Nick Cage, but I feel like probably just to get his name in the credits, it cost him at least $1 million of that 7.8 million.
Agents negotiate where people's names appear in the credits, and his was the very first one in there. So I'm guessing he was the most paid person on this entire production.
Yeah, because even though Kate Winslet was huge at the time, she still wasn't making as much as a lot of her male counterparts.
Yeah. And based on the fact that this was hand-drawn, this might have been recorded before Titanic.
That's a good point. That's actually a really good point.
Could have been recorded in like 97 or something. Didn't come out till 2001. I don't know. I definitely don't recommend this film. It's not a worthwhile watch in the slightest, even if you're interested in seeing what Cage did in it. Maybe just go look and see
YouTube
if there's just the Cage version or the Cage pieces on YouTube or something.
If that doesn't exist, we'll put it up there.
Yeah. We have one Cagey moment. That is his entire scene.
I didn't even pull Cagey moments for this movie at all.
There aren't any.
There aren't any.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I can't put anything in there. So it's big empty space for that.
I mean, you can include "Mend Your Ways" as
That's the quote of the film. So,
Yeah, that's it.